Sichuan Tzu Chi volunteers bring warm supplies to the earthquake survivors in Qinghai province. Tzu Chi volunteers in Hong Kong provide meals to the homeless individuals and invite them to join Buddha Day ceremony.
歡迎收睇大 Headlines， 我係 Ruby 我哋一齊睇下今日嘅內容。A 7.4 magnitude earthquake occurred in Qinghai province, China, on May 22nd, destroying many houses. Residents are currently placed in a shelter. Due to the high altitude and extreme low temperature, residents are lack of warm supplies. Sichuan Tzu Chi volunteers immediately prepared the supplies and arrived in the disaster area a day and a half after the earthquake.
In the early morning of May 22, after a strong earthquake occurred in Mado County, Qinghai, Sichuan Tzu Chi volunteers immediately established a disaster relief coordination center and also contacted the local Rewa Charity Association to learn about the situation in the disaster area.
The temperature should reach minus 20 degrees Celsius. What is needed most is supplies to keep out the cold. For the entire disaster situation, our strength is to be able to supply some supplies, which I think is already very good.
After learning the needs in the disaster area, volunteers from Chengdu and Shifang immediately mobilized and prepared blankets, jackets, scarves, and other materials from the warehouse and loaded the material into a car.
It's midnight on the 23rd, and volunteers are still moving supplies. This batch of supplies include thick blankets, coats, cotton underwear, scarves, and jeans folding bags, which will be sent to the Mado disaster area in Qinghai.
In May, due to the high altitude, the temperature in the earthquake-stricken area is still low. Therefore, the supplies prepared by volunteers are mainly to keep warm. It is expected that they will arrive in Mado County, Qinghai on the afternoon of the 24th.
In Cambodia, Future Light Organization's orphanage, which relied on foreign individuals and enterprise donations, recently faced food shortage as they sought Tzu Chi for assistance. Volunteers arrived with rice and vegetables and cooked a delicious meal for the children to enjoy.
One vegetable dish, soup, and fruits. This is the most delicious meal in a while, even if there's no meat.
Animals have parents too. If we separate animals from their parents, the small ones will become orphans like us.
If we don't eat meat for a day, we save an animal.
Understanding the pain of animals, children further cherish food in their plates.
Although you don't have money for the bamboo coin bank, you can start from eating less meat. It is a form of helping life.
At the Future Light Organization's orphanage, for many years the orphanage was funded by foreign individuals and enterprises. But now the orphanage faces food shortages. Upon first visit, city volunteers saw children eating expired rice with vegetables. Due to this, volunteers decided to send in rice and cook them healthy lunch meals. The county head even paid a special visit.
I've also donated my bamboo coin bank to Tzu Chi. For example, if I have 2.45 USD a day, I will keep 1.9 USD and donate 0.5 USD to the bamboo coin bank. It doesn't affect my living quality. Tzu Chi came to share love by donating rice and vegetables that last for a week. These are supplies that help us during tough times. I'm very happy.
As the children learn to appreciate and perform good deeds, the seed of kindness starts to sprout.
Also in Cambodia, since April this year, the number of confirmed COVID cases has surged and a lot of medical supplies are needed. So the Singapore chapter hurriedly sent out masks, gloves, protective clothing, hospital beds and wheelchairs to support Cambodia. Although during the transportation process, Cambodia was subject to various restrictions on logistics due to the closure of the city, in the end, the supplies arrived smoothly. Since April, the pandemic has spread rapidly in Cambodia, and medical supplies are urgently needed. Tzu Chi has tried to make it up.
These materials are not very easy to buy in Cambodia. Those meeting the standard are quite expensive. As the government's medical resources are limited, it sought Tzu Chi's help. Our Taiwan chapter immediately inquired to various countries to support Cambodia.
The Taiwan chapter has kept some masks in Singapore, so it contacted us to deliver the supplies to Cambodia. It just happened there is an industrialist who has 190,000 masks and wanted to donate to countries in need. Because of this, we have sent the supplies in a container. Yet, we still needed to wait for several days for shipping delivery. This is also a good learning chance for us about what role can Singapore play when it is in an emergency.
Singapore Tzu Chi volunteers made mindful arrangements, plus the loving support from the industrialist. Despite facing various challenges, the medical supplies have finally arrived in Cambodia successfully. This batch of supplies will be distributed to frontline medical staff by TIDA, a Cambodian NGO.
When we received the supplies from Tzu Chi, we arranged for distribution to the COVID confirmed areas and the vaccination areas for use. It really helped us a lot.
TYDA very much agrees with our PPEs, which are all up to international standard.
Under the current pandemic, regardless of national boundaries, everyone joined hands to overcome difficulties.
In Singapore, owing to the pandemic, the regular dental care visits to Ren Tzu nursing home was suspended for more than a year and has finally been allowed to resume recently. Although the operation mode was adjusted, the loving care to the residents has always remained the same.
We need to make sure it can drain out water.
Before the reopening, Dr. Tan tested various machines repeatedly to ensure they can function properly. The dental care visit to Ren Tzu nursing home, which had been suspended for more than a year due to the pandemic, was resumed with the approval of the Singapore Ministry of Health and Ren Tzu Hospital.
It's not easy to be able to return to this hospital. Although we are still under the pandemic, we feel that the needs of the residents have to be met. They are suffering but cannot tell us. We have to alleviate their sufferings.
Conducting a dental visit under the pandemic, not only the visiting team must be capped at 8 people, but also healthcare personnel are not allowed to walk around at will. They can only wait for the nurses to bring the residents over to a designated place. Meanwhile, in order to reduce the risk of infection amongst residents, health screening and treatment were scheduled on the same day during the dental care visit in order to reduce the contact between the residents and outsiders.
At the beginning, we communicated with Ren Tzu through Zoom to find out about the health condition of the residents and whether they cannot take a particular medicine. These are all the necessary preparations we need to do before we come.
During the COVID period where we are not allowed to bring the resident out for the reasons of safety, so I'm very grateful for Tzu Chi to come back to us to resume these much awaited dental services for our residents.
Solving the oral health issues of the residents while also improving their quality of life indirectly. In the future, as long as the pandemic situation permits, TIMA will continue to provide timely treatments to the residents in need.
In Hong Kong, even though the pandemic has lasted for more than a year, Tzu Chi volunteers continue to provide meals to the homeless individuals. A vegetarian restaurant owner also worked with Tzu Chi to issue vegetarian meal coupons to them, so that these disadvantaged people can have a meal to eat.
In the second year of the pandemic, the night view of Victoria Harbour in Hong Kong is still dazzling. However, since the pandemic outbreak, Tsim Sha Tsui, which was crowded with people in the past, now has only homeless individuals. Tzu Chi volunteers regularly deliver meals and care for them.
Tonight there is sweet soup, noodles, congee, and rice for us to choose from. Volunteers also told us to enjoy it at ease. I'm really satisfied with this meal.
To control the pandemic, the Hong Kong government continued to impose group gathering restrictions on catering businesses. Yet, a vegetarian restaurant owner has cooperated with Tzu Chi to provide 200 meal coupons of $4 each to homeless individuals to prevent them from going hungry.
Vegetarian meal coupons helps a lot because we don't have to go hungry anymore, right? At least it helps one meal and we don't have to starve anymore.
Vegetarian meal coupons are of great help to us. When we can go to the restaurant later, we can use it. We don't have to eat biscuits or other things, right?
For the meal delivery in May, volunteers also arranged a mobile Buddha altar for the homeless to receive the Buddha's grace and purify their mind.
I'm a Catholic, but after participating in the Buddha Day ceremony, I feel very happy and cheerful. I hope the Buddha Day ceremony can drive away the pandemic and everyone can be peaceful and happy.
Thanks to the special cause of Buddha's Day, today we are here to visit the homeless individuals and invite them to join the Buddha Day ceremony. I hope that everyone can purify their mind and go vegetarian. Also, the pandemic will be eliminated soon.
Everyone has the same wish that the pandemic around the world will be eliminated as soon as possible and everyone will be safe.
Many times, scholarships are to encourage children who receive good grades. But for children of disadvantaged families, their grades often suffer due to their circumstances. This is why Tzu Chi established the New Suit Scholarship in 2007 to award children who excel in areas other than grades, such as drawing, sports, character, filial piety, discovering a child's individuality through other facets.
Every time they stand on stage, each time they receive words of blessings, these children treasure the experience of being praised.
Normally in school, scholarship awards are given as a reward for good grades, but the children from the families we take care of in Tzu Chi often don't get that chance in school because their academics are not as good as others.
Who says only grades will determine winning an award? Does our society only value one category of success? In getting to know the students, the Tzu Chi Teachers Association members quickly sort out a problem in the value of rewards tied to just grades.
The concept of New Suit Scholarship is because we saw some children who didn't do well academically, but we wanted a way to encourage them to do better.
If one has problems with getting 3 meals a day, how much energy would they have to dedicate to their school grades? This is why when Tzu Chi Foundation established the New Suit Scholarship Award in 2007, they awarded scholarships based on the value of a person as a whole.
Some students don't get good grades, but they have their own specialty, such as sports, drawing, and those excellence are given specialty awards to discover the good in these kids.
New Suit Scholarships has 5 categories: excellence in study, special performance, improvement, attendance award, and filial piety award. Making grades is not the only standard of judging. From 2011 to 2018, a total of 56,026 scholarships have been awarded, which amounts to over 676 million NT dollars handed out. Those who have received this nurturing in the past, these special New Shoots awardees, how are they doing now? This is an activity hosted by the Service Club for the Homeless from National Taiwan University. The rules of this choose-your-own-adventure game: students must pretend they are homeless and pick strips of paper with scenarios on it to see if they end up with a good or bad ending. The point of this game is to inspire everyone to empathize with the homeless and think about what problems in society have happened to them to land them in that position.
对，那最后会连到一个结局这样子，不然就是如果你都选择同一个 那你可能会无限回圈，对，一天过一天这样子。
你有看到那位摄影师跟一位就是跟主持人，对，他们是大爱电视台的采访小组，那大家应该对这都很习惯嘛。
Holding onto the microphone is Liu Yuchen, who is a main player in the service club. He has congenital retinal detachment and is nearly blind in his left eye.
I've never tried to find a part-time job because of my eye condition. Honestly, employers are not that willing to hire me. My family hopes I can just get good grades, but I don't go tutoring because I don't want to further burden my family.
His father also suffers from the same eye problem, and thus his family's finances are tight. But it doesn't hinder Liu's motivation for an education. He began receiving scholarships in middle school and continued until college. One could say that he grew up alongside the New Shoot Scholarship Award and found his self-worth.
If no one saw the good in you, and you also come from a disadvantaged background, then you might not have the self-confidence you need in life. I think this is what the New Shoot Scholarship does for a lot of students, the chance to be recognized.
Liu Yuchen doesn't just hold a position in the service club, but he has also established an organization to feed the homeless. Along with his friends, they will visit and care for the homeless. He says he's been on the receiving end of social benefits since young. Thus, it was his first choice to be a social worker in his college major.
From when I was young to now, I've been surrounded by social workers, volunteers, and other social groups that have helped me. I feel like in the future, when I help others, I can relate to the recipients as I've been helped.
Actually, the origins of the Tzu Chi Foundation giving away scholarships began not with the New Shoot Scholarship Award.
1997年为什么照我的相片？因为那一年我代表同学去致谢词。我第一次得的是民国79年。
Dr. Tzu Chi, current neurology director of Taichung Tzu Chi Hospital, was among one of the recipients of the 4th ever session of Tzu Chi Scholarship.
这个奖学金有两。
First time I visited Hualien was in 1990. That was when I first knew about Tzu Chi.
是去接触慈济医院。
Learning about Buddhism during his school years, Dr. Tzu Chi was interested in the religion. Back then, transportation was not easy, and he journeyed a long time to reach Hualien to meet Master Zeng Yan.
The first time I received the award from Master Zeng Yan, she said, I set up this scholarship because I hope those who receive this award form good affinity with Tzu Chi. She also asked me to be a good doctor for life.
好医生。
Dr. Deng says, due to receiving the scholarship from Tzu Chi, he was quite famous amongst his peers, and the affinity with Buddhism began from there. From the Tzu Chi Scholarship to now the New Shoot Scholarship Awards, the seeds which have been planted from young have sprouted to become trees. They are now in school and society, reciprocating the love they have received from Tzu Chi, passing forward that love to more people.
In India, the number of COVID cases has exceeded 26 million, ranking second in the world. The clever chameleons and missionaries of charity have continued to provide hospitals with anti-epidemic supplies since last year. Recently, the pandemic situation in several neighboring countries has also risen. Tzu Chi immediately sent out anti-epidemic supplies to them.
Regarding the recent severe pandemic situation around India, we have started the meeting at 8:30 every morning since early May. The Master and Tzu Chi sisters and brothers are very worried. This time, the pandemic around the world has suddenly risen. In response to the special situation, we especially made a daily report. Situation of the nuns in India is also very serious. Many nuns have contracted with COVID, being quarantined or even passed away. Since early May, we have taken emergency measures. We have bought some food and anti-pandemic supplies which have been received by the nuns recently.
There are very poor people and working in the field, farmers, most of them are farmers. and very poor people, they are coming from the situation, and so many are getting healed with a thankful heart they are going. So this Sneha Charitable Trust and the Buddhist Tzu Chi Foundation, we are very so much thankful for them, because it was really helpful for the poor people here.
I think some group of people are yet to join. I think Father Jason has to join.
This moment I would like to share with you our sincere heartfelt gratitude and thanks to Buddhist Tzu Chi Foundation for all the support, encouragement, accompaniment that we have been receiving for the past 1 year. I realized that we could reach out more than 500,000 people in India. It is
According to the Chameleons, recently more than 30 nuns and priests with medical backgrounds went to the hospital to help. The Master blessed them and hoped that they would come out safe and healthy after the mission.
不可以让他们没有机会出来，我们要尽心力给他们呢足够的防护，所以现在就是需要呢全球人的爱心，平安人呐，要去救拔苦难人。
The more difficult part is that the entire Indian medical system has collapsed and many people have contracted COVID. Some people work at home, so they couldn't provide us with a lot of information. But indeed, we need to know what they require. Besides, when we buy these materials in India now, we have to send them from point A to point B. The interstate, intercity, and movement control have caused us a lot of difficulties. The administration parties are not so efficient. We have tried our best to help them deal with some issues. Apart from the central and local parties, there are many obstacles in all aspects. We have to overcome one by one.
Through our inner purification and piety, we all join together to go vegetarian. I think it is a really helpful activity to eliminate the pandemic.
For the surge in India's pandemic this time, I think it was just because of a few big festivals that social gathering was very serious. Once it was transmitted, the speed was very fast. The medical system of the whole country has collapsed. Everyone should start from the origin. Wash hands frequently and wear masks. In fact, the more important thing is to go vegetarian, which is the only solution.
In Indonesia, Tzu Chi continued to work with the government, military force, and industrialists to hold aid distribution during the pandemic, hoping to give the most needed assistance to the disadvantaged groups. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you and goodbye.